Have a good show.
You too. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Curious Show, the Jess Clair Show, Human Business with Jess Clair. I am here with Danielle Colley. I did say that right, didn't I?
Yeah, Danielle Colley, that's right.
Danielle Colley. And Danielle and I have met online. We met on LinkedIn. We both do some work in the business arena, in the personal professional development arena. And we got talking. And we were talking about our journey, and we wanted to share that with you tonight. So if you are jumping on, I'm just going to bring this up on my page. If you are jumping on, please do say hello. And we would love to talk about both of us as professional women. We've worked in the corporate space. We sort of do work with professional women. And then we've dabbled in this kind of what is sometimes referred to as woo-woo world. Does anyone know what the term woo-woo means? Hello, Chloe. Anyone else who's jumping on? I can't always see you. Is that Jen? Hello, Jen. It says Facebook user. I never quite know. Have you heard of the term woo-woo before? We decided that we would call ourselves Woo Curious. I'm trying to work out the comments. It's looking a bit different. So we're going to explore this tonight, and I'm here with Danielle. Danielle, why don't you introduce yourself and how you ended up coming on here and talking to me about woo-woo and what is Woo Curious and what it is we're even talking about tonight.
All the woo. Woo-woo.
All the woos.
The woo-woo, yeah. I'm Danielle Colley. I'm an integrative life coach and founder of Your Good Life. And I help professional women in business who are feeling dissatisfied with their lives, and I help them to transition from where they are now to where they want to be by helping them to get rid of the crap that's in their way and really reconnect back to, where they're at. So as you said, I'm working with some powerhouse women. There's a lot of type A personalities in there, and there's a lot of women that I work with are not woo curious or have not previously been woo curious. For me, I think, I think I've always been a bit woo curious. My mum was definitely in the woo witch crew. She was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like not super duper, but I grew up definitely with crystals and cards and like mum was into, she wasn't a clairvoyant, but she would go to clairvoyance, and I was always really aware of that. So I've had an awareness of it for a long time, and I think I used to be way more, before it was woo-woo, it was considered hippie, right? So I think I used to be more hippie, and then I moved right away from it. But lately I've been getting right in the swing of the woo, I have to say.
You've been getting the swing of the woo. Now, for those of you that are jumping on, would you consider yourself a bit woo-woo? Do you like the term woo-woo? Does it annoy you? I mean, I had a guest on here that was like, woo-woo, she was like, what does that even mean? And she is someone that, for her, it's just this other label that separates us, right?
Yeah.
It does it. Does anyone who is, hello, Lisa, does this actually talk to you? So for me, I don't know what happened, but I did not grow up with a mum or a dad that were into anything, what would be considered hippie. That was the label back then, meditation, going to, what would you call it? Like anyone that showed deep sort of affection for each other would be considered a bit interesting. Lisa's like, I think all woo-woo is the norm. Okay, great.
She's one of us. She's one of us.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get into what it means, because until recently it was really different for me. I don't think I was around any of it at all. Hello, Danielle. Danielle, would you consider yourself woo-woo? What is woo-woo, and what are the things that you do that are a little bit delving into the non-physical, is what I call it? So I didn't have parents that did anything. My dad was religious and still is, and he was like a spiritual man in terms of being religious. He's of the Mormon faith, so he's in the church, like the Mormon religion. My mom, she wasn't really at all. Like she was like Mormon, and then she didn't. Then she got drunk and was with a lot of guys, so she wasn't woo at all.
That's a good way to throw off the clock.
Yeah, but I remember doing this. I remember doing this like my first personal development course, and it wasn't even like I would not even consider the course itself to be anything but just this like quite conservative course. But during the course, I don't know. I remember coming away going, I feel so connected to everything, and I really authentically felt connected to everything. And so that gave me this really different experience. And that was when it was like, oh my God, we're all connected. And then I remember thinking to myself, geez, I sound really crazy.
What do you think happened? So in this, for all intents and purposes, rather sort of straight training, what do you think that you got out of it that opened you up in this way?
I wonder what it was. So I was sort of, I remember when I sat down and they just asked me this simple question, which was, what was the question they asked me? It was like, what do you really want? And I was just this like arrogant kind of superior person at the time. I was killing it in professional and corporate, and I was like, I had the best life and everyone should just be like me. So really arrogant and superior. And I got up in the front and I said something like, oh, I just really wish that all the stupid people would stop being stupid. Right? I know, charming.
No judgment here.
That is actually legitimately how I was. And at some point during the course, what I got was all of that was a facade. It was all protecting something that was far deeper and far more real to who I was. And so when that kind of fell away, which was what that course was about, like really dropping that facade and getting really authentic with that like protection mechanism that I had. So once I dropped that, all that I felt was this connection. So it was so weird. It was honestly like all I wanted to do was walk up to every human being and just go, I feel love for you. And then I'm like, oh my God, now I'm a hippie.
I always say,
like,
when I come out of a training or I come out of a retreat or I come out of something where you've been in that kind of space, whether it's a sacred space specifically or where you've just had that opening up kind of experience, I always say I feel like a walking nerve ending. You're just like walking around like this. I've just got I'm all feelings.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It was like, it's like, yeah, you're right. A walking nerve ending. It's like, honestly, I like this, you can't tell, but there's actually a sheet here. This is a green screen, but it's like, oh, thank you for being here, green screen. Like everything is just so precious.
Yeah. And it lasts for a few days until normal
someone
life.
Just said
normal life, normal life has a way of like taking you away from that again somehow.
Well, yeah, because I like legitimately walked to the front of a room in front of 150 people, cocky AF, and said in front of every single one of them, I really am here to get rid of all the stupid people. So how far away... and like I was 33 at the time, and how far away had I gotten from myself to get that cocky and arrogant? And I was rewarded for it, to be honest, in my work.
I think this is often the thing. Yeah, Chloe, I hear exactly what you're saying. I was having this conversation on the weekend and I was talking to some sort of coaches. I was doing a training on the weekend and I said, I want to somehow incorporate more woo woo in the work that I'm doing, but I don't know. I think calling it woo woo is a little bit like disrespectful for how awesome it is. So, I think having different language around it would be cool, but it needs to be somewhere between woo woo and like, I don't know, like spirituality. Does that seem too full on?
Yeah, and so that's me as well. I don't connect to that word. Because
Well,
that kind of, and I think maybe we don't have language for it, and that's what we're grappling. Like universally, there's no real universal language for this.
yeah. Like I'm down with spirituality, but I feel like it's a little it can repel some people when what we're really talking about is, as keeps coming off in this conversation here, what we're really talking about is love and connection and connecting into parts of ourselves and taking away those shields and the armor that we wear and allowing ourselves to show up in this authentic way that, we're giving ourselves and others permission. So it's so all about like love and vibration and connection and whatever. So going like spirituality can be a little repelling for some people because they immediately think of religion.
That's what I do. I'm like, I'm in no way connected to religion, and I'm absolutely fine if people are. Like my family are religious, but it just doesn't connect for me. But I'm also like woo woo. I've got some friends who are really, got that sort of connection to love and connection with human beings. And the idea of woo woo is actually separating for them. Like Chloe said, it's like, it doesn't feel like we're taking this seriously. It's a bit offensive. But then I'm like, I don't know how to give this language.
Yeah.
So and Teresa Maroney just said, yes, so true. I think that's I'm guessing that's in relation to what we're talking about. There is a slight delay. But how do we give because and Lisa, hello Lisa, hello Chloe, and also Teresa, it's connection to source and our energy fields, living outside the 3D human body. So when you said 3D, like this is a really new term for me too. I'm like, what do you mean living outside the 3D in the human body? What's 3D? And then I've talked to people who's gone, oh, there's 4D and 5D. And I'm like, what? What are these Ds you speak of?
Yeah. How do I fit into them? Where do I fit? What am I? What's my D?
Yeah. And I'm like, this is where the language, for me, at least, I don't know about you, but this is where the language itself becomes to separate. So when someone says 3D, it's like, huh? We're all on Earth. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I think we as a human race are evolving and we don't actually have words and language for what we're now experiencing. So, and what we do have is kind of this. Yeah, sorry, you go. I'm going on a tangent.
Tangents are my best friends. Like let's go on all the tangents. I think if there's ever a show that you can, this is it, right? But is it possible that, because there's a part of me that wonders, is there a really big shift right now? Because it has come into my sphere so greatly and I'm meeting so many people, so many people my age who are holding conscious events and conscious dance parties and conscious, like sacred,
oh, really?
Yeah, like urban rituals and things like that, and young people are going and, like all different walks of life are going and they're having these moments, these things together, these events together. So I'm wondering, is there a big shift, or have I just like opened my eyes to it? It's been there all along, but I've been going very arrogantly about my way, or very blinkeredly about my way, just doing my own thing, and I was just unaware of it. So is there a shift, do you think, or has it always been there and we've just noticed?
I definitely think there's some sort of shift. I mean, I was in corporate about a year and a half ago, in a job, and I remember feeling very alone, like really alone. And I was looking online, and there was this chick called Kezia. I don't know if you know Kezia Lee. She's a pretty big business coach. Do you know her? No. And she was like posting things. And I really resonated with what she was saying, but mostly because she was just so real and raw. Like she was not trying to look good. She was so fun and playful. And that had me get intrigued by her. And then, so I caught up with her because I was doing some work on authenticity, and I caught up with her, and then I ended up doing one of, when I got curious, so I ended up doing one of her programs, and she wasn't wearing any shoes.
What?
I know everyone there had no shoes on. They were all like, dropping into their heart space, and I'm like, what is this? What do you mean dropping into heart space? I've never done this before. And then, so we're in this like process, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fully authentic and stuff. Like I've done lots of work. Yeah, I'm cool. And I'm like there, and everyone's like making noise as they breathe out. So they're like, the sigh. There's this noise that we make, and like Chloe says, and I do get it, Lisa. So this size
on that physical body as well. I think that's an interesting point that Lisa made.
Definitely.
Carry on with your thigh.
Yeah. And then they're all like, Jess, you got to let go. And I'm like, what of? And I didn't know what I was letting go. And then they all circle around me, and they're like, everyone just hold Jess. And I'm like, this is terrifying. I wish it would stop. Why is everyone holding me? Everyone hold Jess, but not like really holding me. Like they're giving me like
the space. That's something else they do, is they hold the space for you.
And I'm like, what is happening? And then all of a sudden I start crying because what I realized is all that facade was all there again.
Yeah. It's really confronting that. Yeah. People seeing you, right? Seeing through the armor, seeing through the barriers, seeing through the social self that you allow people to see. Suddenly there are people seeing right through all of it, and it's super confronting. One event that I went to had ecstatic dance, which was amazing, and you go through all the different elements and you dance and move like the elements of water, and that's like going with the flow, and it talks about what all the different elements bring to your life, and you just get right amongst it. And when you're dancing alone, you can get out of your head and you can be like, okay, I'm going to be like fire now, like and you can get into it. But there was this moment where they said, okay, now everyone find a partner, and I automatically went, find a partner. And then we did this thing where one person danced for the other person just stood there holding space, and you just had to make eye contact and dance for this perfect stranger. And it was it was a long 5 minutes, my friend. But it was also like super liberating and super like intimate and connecting. Like it was beautiful. But yeah, it was a long 5 minutes. There was a bit of giggling in there, I have to admit.
Yeah. And this is interesting. You said after you go through this kind of process, right, you experience this kind of liberating, free, experience. But before you do it, it just feels weird. It's like so different.
It's foreign. Exactly.
Foreign.
It's foreign. And it is foreign until it is not. Right? And just like, the first time we rode a bike, the first time we learned to swim, all of those things are really foreign to the human experience. And that's another thing. Like, when did this connection become so foreign? How far away have we become? How far away from ourselves have we become? Like you said before, for this kind of stuff to be foreign. Like,
because it is. And then I think about what I was like, before I started doing that work, when I was the person that stood up in front of everyone, was like, I just came here to learn how to get rid of stupid people. You know, when I did actually do that, and it was real, like that was so real for me, I used to completely cut and diminish anyone that had an alternative view to me. So I remember even being the person that I was like, I'm so intelligent. Like, I know all the information. So anyone that told me anything that was out of my sort of zone of what I thought was right, I would just not treat them well. And deep down, who I was so empty and unhappy, but I would never, I didn't even know what to do with that.
Yeah. And isn't that a wonderful piece of insight? I mean, realistically, it's a great piece of insight to be able to look back on that evolution of you and be able to say, wow, you know, you thought you were successful, you thought you had it all, and you were outwardly so, but being able to harness these other parts of yourself and tap into these other parts of yourself has opened up your life in a way that you are now like a totally different being, you know? And that's it's great to look back on that and go, oh, wow, I've grown so much. Like, yay me.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I mean,
all it took was some sage.
Oh, well, I don't know if that's all it took. I mean, I feel like my whole life, my whole world shifted.
Tell us some more about, from that point, what happened next? Like, tell us about the next, like, you know, big sort of evolutionary leap Jess Clair took to be here.
Well, I was so going from being a superior, self-promoting jerk at 33, and you know what? My heart was always underneath there. I just didn't know how to expose it safely.
Yeah,
like it was all there. And no, see, interestingly, some people have talked about some of the things that people do, ayahuasca. Some people do other things. I think it's called plant medicine. If anyone doesn't know what plant medicine is, just put a comment. That's actually some of the stuff that people do. I've never done any of that. I still can't.
I didn't know it was medicine when I did that. But now magic mushrooms are considered plant medicine. But when I did it, it was just purely for, you know, fun. So when someone said to me recently, have you ever done plant medicine? And I was like, what kind? They were like, magic mushrooms. And I was like, well,
yeah.
I was 21 at a full moon party. Does that count?
Yeah. So now there's like conscious ways of doing this, right?
Yeah.
There's a conscious dance party. Oh, you're a Saturday.
Yeah, that's so good.
I'm free, Lisa.
Yeah.
Oh, we live near each other too. That sounds fun.
Yeah. The conscious dance parties are so much fun, you know, having the cacao ceremonies, dancing completely sober with like-minded people. There's so much love in the room. It's a beautiful thing. I started doing it even before I was thinking about my alcohol consumption. I love dancing, and having some kind of like place to go where it is everything that we're talking about was a foreign idea to me. Like, where do you go if you love dancing? Conscious dance parties. Fabulous.
I like the I was at Conscious, so I went to Conscious Community, and I've since spoken at their event, you know, so I'm now included in the fold. Yeah. You know, I'm in the fold of consciousness. We are. Yes. And I went, and they did at Conscious Community this a networking event. They actually had the DJ who does these conscious dance parties, and he said this amazing quote. And I was so moved by it. He said, this isn't about feeling better. This is about feeling more. Yeah. And I was like, oh, wow, that is so good. When you take away the drugs, when you take away the alcohol, it's really about feeling your feelings, feel what's there. And he said, some of this may evoke sadness. Just feel it. Keep dancing. Some of this may, you know. And I was like, amazing. And it is confronting. Like I was like, how do I start dancing sober? Because I feel so much more comfortable getting drunk and dancing like, you know, like for some reason that takes away. But actually, once you get into it, it's actually really quite. I think it's like a personal experience, as opposed to dancing to show the group that you're okay. It's like, no, you're dancing for yourself.
Absolutely. You let the music inhabit you. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
I went to a couple of like weekend events where it was, you know, a sober dance party that was, you know, like Buschdorf without the, it was actually a vegan, alcohol-free vegan. There was coffee, but it, like, you know, there was vegan smoked carrot dogs instead of hot dogs even. Like it was a 3-day event. We all, you know, we glamped, and it was amazing. There was like things to do during the day to connect in various different ways, you know, whether it was like yoga, or like there was some really like crazy aerobics kind of dance aerobics things. Like there was just like, I mean, seriously, I was so shattered after the thing. I may as well have been at a 3-day full on dance party, because there was still like no sleep and complete body exhaustion from absolutely living like your best life for 3 days. It was amazing.
Yeah. And see, this would never have even entered into my consciousness as something to do.
Yeah.
It would have been, this is weird. There's these people going, and, you know, I mean, my family does it because they're quite religious. So none of them drink, and they just hang out and have fun, and they do all this stuff that is non-consumption of drugs and alcohol, right? And I remember thinking, I wonder how they do that. I'm not interested in religion. This is the first group, I guess, or community of people that are doing all this stuff without needing any drugs or alcohol.
It's so much more than that, you know. It's so much more than sort of sober dance parties, or, you know, whether they eat meat or not eat meat. Like there's a lot more to the woo.
There's a lot more to the woo.
A lot more to the woo. Tell us some more of the like the more sort of out there things that you've experienced. If you want, I've got some.
Who wants out there? Okay, should we go out there? Is anyone
who wants to hear some out there?
Who wants to hear some out there stuff? We're going to go really out there. So if you really,
when you're woo curious, you got to get into the spirit to see if you're really into, not in the spirit. Oh my God, that sounded super woo, but you got to get amongst it. You got to get amongst it to work out what works for you, or what is a bit far out there.
Yeah, and I think Sky has just said this is a really good point just before we're about to go into this. Our religion, which is a drug, this is actually a really good point. Anything that you're using to make you feel better about your life, it doesn't matter whether it's this, or whether it's alcohol, or whether it is drugs, or whether it's religion. If you're using that, this is what I got, to feel better about yourself, then you're not connected to who you are. It's like, no, what I'm noticing about consciousness movement and this is it's about feeling more. Feeling with your anger, like feeling, it's not about feeling better. This is about being with the sadness that you get around things that hurt. This is about how do you express what is actually flowing through your body in a really conscious, productive way, and being around like-minded people who, you know, hold space or allow you to be whatever you want to be. And it's just so safe to be human and have all these human moments. I think that's the beauty of it. It is so not about being better or feeling better, or call what I call hopium, you know.
I love that.
Yeah. And I used to study social science. So there was a sociologist that called religion the opium of the people.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, if you come with us, I will make you okay when you die. So you hold on to this concept that if you know, stay in this religion, that you'll be okay when you die. But
40 virgins, you know, or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
There are so many promises.
Yeah, but actually what we're doing is we're not living here. on this earth, in earth right now, and feeling what we're feeling and going through this stuff that we're going through. So yeah, let's get into it. You ready? Let's go. Let's go in. Okay. So I went on a shamanic retreat. When did I go on a shamanic retreat? I think it was in August. It wasn't even that long ago. I got really curious about it because I'm all about seeing other people's results. So if someone says to me, oh, you should do this, I'm like, but how does your life look? Right. So I listen to the way people live their life, not by what they say. And I sort of like fully interrogate and check their life out before I will do anything. And there was this one person who she just had this life that I liked the idea of, and she ran this business and seemed to be easy, and she had this beautiful home, this great relationship with her kids and her ex-husband, and I was like, I love the look of her life. And she's a modern day shaman, as she calls herself, and she calls herself a medicine woman. And I found this really odd, and I didn't really get it, but she followed a lot of my posts. So I'd see her going, like she resonated with a lot of what I did as well. Anyway, I went to her house and I was like, okay, you're doing this retreat, but what am I going to get? And I remember being so results focused, right? Yeah, but what am I going to get out of this? And she just looked at me and went, I don't know. And I went, so you're asking me to pay all this money and you're not even going to tell me what I'm going to get? And she was like, nope. I can't tell you what you're going to get. You can set some intentions. Who knows? Who knows what's possible? And so I kind of went away, and she went, you need to feel into it. Like, that's another thing that this is one of those terms. It's like, you need to feel into it. And I'm like, what does that even mean?
Right. I want you to tell me more. Yeah.
I was like, give me the answer. Should I do this or not? Tell me what outcomes I might get. If that aligns up with what I want, then I'll do it. And then I can hold you accountable if it doesn't work out. Right? So she's not giving me anything, and then wanting me to pay all this money for it. And then I got in the car and I was listening to this book that's called The Earth is Hiring, which is also a little bit woo-woo. And it said in there, are you sick of doing everything the same way it's already been done, living inside your condition? Do you actually want to try out the easy road? And I thought to myself, I'm actually really over the hard way. I'm over our conditioning to work hard and get the money and look good and all of that. And immediately I rang her up and I was like, I have no idea what this is, but I'm doing it. And then I go home to my housemate and I'm like, so I'm doing this shamanic retreat. She's like, what is it? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, how much is it? And I told her,
She was like,
and she's like, whoa, that's a lot of money. What are you going to get? Not sure. Anyway, so my housemate goes, I think I want to do it. I'm like, really? So she goes and does it with me as well. Honestly, I can't describe to you the profound impact that this has had on my life.
Mm.
Even Sky just said, you changed completely after that retreat. I did. Yeah.
Yeah. I did not a shamanic retreat. I did a goddess retreat. Different.
Oh, you did goddess. Okay. I'm connected to the shamans. Yeah. You're connected to the goddesses. Right.
Clearly. And you know what? It was an amazing experience because it was in this amazing spot in the Byron hinterlands, and it was like off-road. You couldn't get there by car. We had to get picked up by four-wheel drives, and it was this crystal activated land. The water was all coming through the volcanic tubes from Papua New Guinea. Everything about this place was completely sacred. So I had no idea what to expect, and I was put in the tent, the glamping tent, with the other person who was the least woo-woo there. We were paired up together as like, the city girls. and the whole experience from the moment I got there was completely like profound and life-changing. It was actually life-changing. And did everybody have the same experience as me? Don't know. I was so busy doing my own thing. Like, I was part of it and I was deeply connected, but the way that it was impacting me and the challenges that I felt, when now we're going to do this activity, or now this is going to happen. And, some of it I was completely on board, and others I was like, that is unusual practice. Let's like up for anything, not judgmental, up for anything, but it was stretching what I knew, and that, I mean, God, that's an exhilarating thing. It's a good time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it's great that and I think that's what it takes. I talk about this word surrender, where you're like, oh, this is unusual. This is not
new. This is new.
This is new, but you still take it on.
There was nuding. There was nuding, Jess. And I was like, I don't know how comfortable I am with nuding up in these like crystal activated waters. Everyone was like, okay, now we're going to go for a swim. And I was like, okay, swimmers. And they were like, no. And I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. And of all the challenging things, there was something about getting naked amongst other women that was one of the most confronting parts. And I really had to really dig into myself to find out, like, to ask why. What was that about? Like, I'm totally comfortable with my body as long as I was looking at it, So
yeah,
it was, but it was also really beautiful to see these really connected, confident, spiritual women just really comfortable with each other. And they were all different ages and shapes and sizes. And once everybody sort of displayed this beautiful, comfortable behavior, I was like, okay, like we're doing this. Come on. But again, there's more to woo-woo than nudity or sobriety or, consciousness. Like there's lots of different elements to it.
Yeah. And look, when you just said that about the going and getting nude with, a bunch of women, right?
Yeah.
That's quite confronting. But what it does is it brings up all of the things that are in the way of you and women. Friends, they have terms, this is some terms to look up called sister wounds.
Yeah.
Wounds.
Mother
so they
wounds.
start
Mother wounds, yeah, sister wounds.
Mother wounds, sister wounds, and you don't even think to look at this stuff.
Sky, that's hilarious. Sky takes on nudity rather than dancing for someone for 5 minutes. Imagine if they made you do both, like naked dancing for 5 minutes. I mean, that's like the goddess / shaman retreat. Like,
yeah, and but it's like it brings up all this stuff that's effectively what I would call in the way every day without even realizing it. In the way of your connection to others.
Yeah.
So we go, oh, I don't want to go get, naked. Not that I'm suggesting everyone goes and gets naked to each other. It's really personal. And
I totally am. I'm trying to get naked. Because you know what? It was like the last bastion of the like the costumes we wear, right? Yeah. I'm particular about my clothes. I'm particular about my presentation. And all of a sudden, with none of that on, we were all just the same. And having all of that, it's all just armor, right? Having all of that stuff stripped away, being there, like just me, it's just me. It was super, super awesome. Yeah, so great. I drove home from the retreat naked.
Did you?
No.
You're like, hi, officer, I'm really in touch with the universe right now. Don't book me for public nudity.
Yeah, I'm a walking nerve ending right now.
I'm a walking nerve ending.
I feel so free. I have no armor.
I have no armor. What
Yeah.
are you doing, you weirdo? What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the
No.
womb that you were talking about, another thing that came up that I was really interested in was they talk a lot about the womb, right? And
We were talking about that.
Yeah, but they talk a lot about the womb and womb wounds and how we as women, and you were even saying before, men with their spiritual wombs, right? How we hold out a lot of fear and pain in our womb. And that is something that I had that I'd never even considered that as an idea. So having that concept suddenly being like, okay, in a meditative state, someone's saying, let's have a look at where, the fear and the pain that you've stored in this, most miraculous part of your body. I was really surprised at what floated up out of my unconscious mind, things that I haven't thought of in a gazillion years. And I was like, oh, I thought I was over that. Oh, the old famous last words, right? I thought I was over that. And there it is, as we're throwing around these ideas of the womb wounds. So, yeah, any thoughts on the womb? Want to share your thoughts on the womb?
Yeah, well, that was something that featured a lot in the shamanic retreat as well. And for me, it's everything is very much on earth. Like I'm like reality, and people go, yeah, but what's real and what's not? The way that I determine what's real and what's not is I go, if you cut me open, would I actually see a womb? Yeah, I would. Right? Would I actually see wounds from other people stored in my womb? No, I wouldn't. Right? However, so I'm like, there's no wounds there, right? However, what I do know is that when you go through one of these visualizations like I did, and they go, all right, now just focus on your womb. And, womb is not a place for fear or pain. A womb is a space for creation, probably say, it's those words. And I'm like, okay, focusing it. And I really authentically did it. What I notice is that it does bring up a lot of things in the way of creation. So when we say creation, it's like, what are you not doing in your business that you really want to do? What are you not doing in your relationships that you really want to do? What relationships do you just given up on? Like, if you think about all the things you create in life, business, children, relationships, money, love, all of that, if there's anything that you're limited by in that visualization, it all comes up. And you, like you said, you see things that just visualize. So whilst I can't cut myself open and see wounds in my womb, and they're little like speech bubbles around all the things that have happened that don't work, right? I can't see that.
Your 5-year-old self, yeah.
No, there's no 5-year. There's no 5-year. There's no little Jess inside my body, right? Whilst there's no little Jess.
Oh my goodness, really?
No, there's no. If they cut me open, they would not find a little version of me in there.
What about in your psyche or in your unconscious mind?
Oh my God. Well, again, logically and in reality, there's no unconscious mind. The unconscious mind
is not a logical place. The unconscious mind is an emotional place.
So exactly. So what I'm saying is that there's no physical place for this conversation, right? There's no physical location for it. But when you actually tap into it and go, all right, just allow someone to run you through this process, right? Allow someone to go visualize your womb. Imagine your womb. All of these thoughts, all of these things sort of show up. So that I found very interesting, and it brings up a whole lot of emotion. It brings up a whole lot of stuff. I found that fascinating. And then sharing that in a safe space with other people in the group and being able to just like kind of let go of that had so many things happen in my life. Like I can't tell you that what has happened since that retreat in my business, in my relationships, particularly in my relationship with myself. It's been amazing. So my logical brain is like, And I'm saying that because I'm sure other people would go, there's no logic to this.
Yeah, I'm so confused. I don't
No.
even know if I believe, but I'm seeing some amazing results in my life since I've, started down this road. I think that's really beautiful that you acknowledge that you are conflicted by being woo curious because you are so data driven, and you do want the information and the results, and you want that sort of stuff. So I think that it's an interesting sort of line that you walk, Jess, because you are delving into not just parts of yourself, but you're delving into you're busting open like who you really think you are.
Well, yeah, and like I feel like we could talk about even this for a long time, because not only that, I've been trained in a lot of the transformation modalities that I've done, and I used to lead programs in powerful places to stand, right? And one of the most powerful places to stand is always reminding yourself and grounding yourself in what's real and what's not.
Mm.
And so I always come back to, can I cut myself open and see that thing?
Sure.
And if does this really exist? Like time doesn't really exist. There are certain things that just don't exist. Time is a structure. It's a construct of efficiency so that we can get more done and meet each other at the same time. Otherwise, we'd just be like walking around going, where the fuck is everyone?
Yeah. Is it time to eat again?
Is it time? Oh, shit. Oh, he said the shadow over the rock. I thought he said under the rock, so you don't see each other for 3 days. That was an efficiency. We do a lot of things for efficiency, right? Whereas and even Sky just said, oh, Jess, you haven't touched her yet. This inner child. No, visually I have. Again, but this is all a visualization tool. There is no actual little version of me inside my body.
Oh, so you're being like totally literal. There is no, I mean, literal. So in a visual way, you can access that part of yourself. And even, I think some of it is like suspending the disbelief, right? Suspend the disbelief so that you can imagine. And I think that it's in the imagining that you find the gold, because there is nothing literal about it.
There's not. And, Sky just said it's very limiting. It's not for me. In fact, it's very grounding. So, like I said, when I hold on to things in the non-physical, like an attachment, like when I go, I'll give you an example. Now I'm going to go even more curious, because now we've gone here, because this is not to diminish the power of connecting to my inner child, okay, as a visualization tool. It's not to diminish the power of connecting to my womb as a tool and the real experiences that come up and clear and provide. But I also am grounded in, there is no reality or what did you say? Literal. There's no literal little me inside me. There's no, do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yes. And you know what? I think that that's a very interesting point, in that fact that you're saying that you stay really grounded, because sometimes in this community or in this realm, because sometimes in this realm, some people are having an experience that is far less grounded because they're right up there, right? They're right up there and they're so into it and that they're not able to bring that down onto this plane. And if you think about it, this is where we live, right? We are humans having a human experience, okay? So yes, there might be an astral plane. Yes, you might be able to access it. Yes, you might be able to communicate. Yes, you might be able to download. Yes, you might. But if you can't communicate and share and relate in this plain, right, which is really real and grounded, if you can't do it in a way that people can understand, relate, and connect, then you're missing out on this experience, which is the very human experience. So
Yeah.
I actually see your point of remaining as grounded as you can be whilst being open to other ideas. I see both sides.
Yeah, totally. And look, I'm just saying that this is what empowers me. In fact, the idea, it's interesting why you need to keep reiterating that she isn't real. No, it's a good point. It's because she's not. Okay.
So what about the idea that she's not now, but she once was, and
Yes.
and big Jess, right? Like, so little Jess was once real, and she formulated ideas, beliefs, and patterns from the world around her, from her upbringing, from her schooling, from her interactions with people. You created or you experienced a whole lot of this stuff, and those experiences and beliefs and ideas and patterns, they actually stay with big girl Jess, right? So perhaps you're actually, like, in many ways, even if you can't literally get a grip on the idea that there's a little Jess, it's like you've eaten her.
Yeah, and look, I agree.
Like, you've integrated her into who you are, and you're still carrying a lot of that stuff. Like, that's
totally.
Yes,
that is
guys.
a real.
What is real?
Well, right now, what's real is that you and I are currently on a live together. There's colors. There's actually vibrations happening right now. The vibration and technology is picking up the visualization, which is you and I on a screen. I'm talking into a white microphone. This is a fake background. That's a real background where Danielle is.
How can you tell?
Exactly. And so what is real is, like, in this moment right now, what's around me is real. And there's real...
what about what's around you that you can't see?
Well, there's real experiences. Absolutely. So that's why these visualization tools are so powerful, because there's the connect to the womb, and that provides me with a real experience. But there's no actual, like, there's no actual wounds in my womb right now. My womb's fine, but actually, in terms of things that I've held on to, basically in my own beliefs, sure, that stuff has to be dealt with, and that's a great way to get to it.
Yeah, so maybe
definitely,
whether it's real or understandable or not, it's more like it's just like a portal, or just I don't know. As you say, it's a tool. They're all tools.
And if there were, it wouldn't be you. If there was anything inside of me, I'm not even going to say that.
Tell me more about what you do in your daily life. So we're curious. So we
went down a rabbit hole.
We're mostly normal. What is normal? Normal is mostly, like, I don't even know what to say. But what do you do in your everyday life to stay connected in this way to the things that you've learned in these retreats and these? Do you meditate?
Yeah. I'm not a big fan of meditating, to be honest.
Nobody is.
So but I feel like it was one of the things I had to give up, is that I felt like everyone was like, if you don't meditate, you're not doing it right. And so at some point I went, it just doesn't work for me. Like, I've tried it. I've tried it so many times. It is just not what actually has me meditate. And one of the things I liked about the shamanic retreat was this shaman that I was talking to was saying, you can be meditating on the toilet. It really is about bringing yourself inner peace, right? So it's you can do it cooking. you can do it like it's meditation is very personal, and there's obviously structured ways in which to do it. So I got a lot of freedom around that because I was like, oh, there's something wrong with me that I don't actually
Well, now I want to
enjoy.
know, do you do it on the toilet?
I have stopped taking my phone to the toilet.
Okay, so you meditate with an app. Is that what you're saying?
And no, I don't take my phone anymore. So therefore, I'm meditating.
Is that what? Yeah.
It was really about being present.
Yeah, mindful.
You know,
coming back to this moment.
It's like, comfy. And I just want to pick up on something that Sky said. You know, I think you're confusing real with tangible. Look, this is all language, right? That's what we're pointing to. I'm trying to describe with the best of my knowledge the way in which I can give you access to my experience of life. It's not the only way to live. It's not the right way. It's not the truth. It's just my truth. And it's just how I explain it. I'm doing my best to explain it. But I really do stand by everything that I'm saying is how I experience life. So anyway, back to what you said on the toilet. So
yeah, I was just delving into your toilet habits.
Well, this is
meditation. What else? So what do you do if you don't meditate? What do you do daily? What are your daily practices?
So my daily practices. So I went from eating a lot of fast food, drinking about a litre of scotch every few days. COVID, it even got worse. And I went from eating like a whole lot of food that wasn't that great for me. It wasn't just fast food, but it was just lots of food. Having coffee 2 or 3 a day. I don't have coffee anymore. Don't have caffeine. I eat mostly plant-based food, and I haven't had fast food. I think I've had fast food maybe twice since the retreat, and my kids are better off for it. And every morning I bought a whole bunch of cacao. And every morning I give myself a cacao ceremony. I walk outside, I sit in front of the plants, I put my feet on the earth, and I appreciate every living thing in front of me. And I talk to it, and then I do what you talked about, calling in the energy. So I then call in the energy of certain things that I saw because I was like, oh, this is cool. I call in kind of the like whatever I feel like experiencing for the day. So, you know, today was like playful and divine, like divinity. I love calling in divine. Actually feel very connected to that energy.
Yeah.
Right now. So I do that, and then I just sit in that and discover life through that energy.
I mean, that sounds like a meditative process in itself, right?
It is, but it's far more empowering for me.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. That's fairly woo-woo. Like you're up there.
It is. It's not real. There's nothing flying through the sky and then goes, hello, I'm divine energy. Here you go. No, it doesn't exist, but it's definitely a process that I feel very different when I do it. You know, maybe I am calling in things, maybe I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah. I do.
What do you do?
I do daily gratitudes and have taken up daily meditation. So I've just gone from 10 minutes to 20 minutes, but it's only been 2 days. So I'm not going to say that I'm a pro. Before clients, I was just telling you, before clients, I will burn my Palo Santo, and which
props.
is
we were talking about props,
which is a stick, a sniffy stick. I'll burn that before clients, and just like, you know, give myself a smoke cleanse, and call in. I saw Gabby Bernstein, and she talked about before she does any of her things, she calls in, like, you know, past people like Wayne Dyer, and she calls in the greats, you know, and I was like, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
So I have no idea if I am, but I'm like, I'm doing my best. I burn the sniffy stuff, and I just set an intention, you know, and it's like, you know, for the greater good, the highest good of my client and I, you know, if anyone wants to come and help, you know, by all means, if you've got our highest intention, then, you know, come and support. And I have no idea if it works or if I believe it even, but there's a part of me that is really open to the idea of support from a different realm. But I've really just gotten right back into crystals and cards. I've got some like oracle cards. You can't see it because the light.
I got some too.
Yeah, I got some cards and some stuff.
No.
And
journal? Do you journal?
Yeah, I do journal. I was really good at it and did it multiple times a day previously, and I have been a little bit shit since COVID, I will say. I did not know that Palo Santo is not ethically sourced, but I do know
hear that.
I do know that some of it is, because so I was just recently somewhere with someone who was selling some ethically sourced Palo Santo. So is some of it? Is it all from the same place? I don't know actually much about it, Sky. But thanks for bringing that to my attention, because I will check it out.
I've also heard that sage isn't ethically sourced. So I've just heard that as well. I'm just going to burn some sage to clear some negative energy.
Have you got negative energy right now?
Well, I can't see it because it's not real, but I'm certainly going to get rid of it just in case it's there. Because if you can't see something, doesn't mean that it's not there.
Oh, who is this person?
I certainly can't see it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, apparently sage clears negative energy.
Yes.
But again, I like that as a clearing as well. Like I take the practice of going like that smell and that going into a new space. So right before clients, I do that as well.
Yeah. And they walk in and they think that you've been smoking a doob or whatever. Do you work solely online? I'm solely online, so nobody can smell. I'm also smelling like massive reefers.
Oh, look, Naomi. Hello. Yeah, so we were just getting woo curious. You're so funny. Okay. It does smell a bit like a doob, as you But yes. Any other props that you've got? I've got some Palo Santo here as well.
I just bought a Tibetan singing bowl.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, but I cannot for the life of me make it work. So I've got a feeling that the donga, I think they gave me a dud donga because it can't be me.
Try. You gotta keep going around.
No, it dampens it.
I've got no idea.
I think it's there's like a felty thing on this. I feel like it's dampening it immediately. But it definitely gives a good.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
Yeah. So I'm incorporating a little bit more like boing in my life, in various ways. After setting an intention with a client, I will.
This is a rose quartz, was given to me by someone. It's apparently the vibration of love, which I can't get enough of, really. So,
I got look at this amazing labradorite.
Oh, what does that do?
Labradorite is supposed to help to connect you to your intuition, which is something that I'm really inviting in my work right now, because who doesn't want a bit more intuition in their life so that you don't have to think so hard, right? So
exactly.
Yeah.
So you know how how they say whatever you believe becomes real, like this whole law of attraction.
Yeah.
So part of me thinks that this is a way to actually create a belief, and that the belief then will pull all of that towards you anyway. And if you look at the science and the brain science behind this, you've got this reticular activating system. So it doesn't really matter what you use, whether you use a freaking crystal, Palo Santo, you're calling in the energy of intuition. Like, again, it's not real. You can't see all this stuff. There's no energy of freaking, beaming down and hitting you in the face. It's not happening. But if it creates some sort of belief for you that gives you peace and gives you calm and trust and allowing, then why not? Well, then why not do it?
So by that thinking, is this just not faith?
Sounds a bit like it. That's what I mean. It sounds a bit like hopium.
But it's a faith that we can get behind because it's not affiliated with something that we have to, like an indoctrination that we have to follow by the word to be, you know. Hey, Teresa. Hi, how are you?
Thank you.
Yeah,
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um,
Jackie, she reckons her singing bowl took her a while to get her singing bowl. So maybe it's me. I used somebody else's on the weekend and I got it like first go. So all right. I like that. That's a little bit of encouragement for me to keep going. Oh wait, who is that on intuition? Faith it till you make it. That's right, Teresa.
Yeah.
William Whitecloud for intuition training. Ooh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm definitely up for a bit of that.
Frequencies. So well, yeah, we were talking about that.
Exactly. Vibrations, right?
We're all energetic. So they've definitely got the science to say everything about us, we're all vibrating. We may look like we're solid, but actually we're just vibrating cells, right? Even our bodies, everything, this table, everything. And certain vibrations do contribute certain experiences. So these are ways to give ourselves different vibration and frequencies in our life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. All crystals have different vibrations. There's like binaural beats have different vibrations, have different brain waves, frequencies, precisely. Yes, plus intention. That's a huge one. So having the intention behind whatever it is that you're doing is whether it's this rock or another rock, if I'm wishing on it, or setting the intention of burning my Palo Santo before a client and saying, hey, like I'm here to show up with the highest good, to hold the space. There you go. I use it to hold the space, to allow whatever needs to come up so that we can, give them the results they desire, So again, it's intention, is it this that's giving me the feeling, or is it the words that I say, or is it a combo, or is it the faith?
Well, I think anything that has you create more and more stronger belief in yourself, and how do I put this into words? Like Sky said, our words are limited. I don't know how else to explain it except to kind of remember this moment I had, right? Where I'd just done that course and I came out of it and I felt connected to everything. And I went up to my partner at the time's foot, and she'd just like hurt her foot. She like sprained it or something. And I was like so connected. Like I felt like I was a god. I was like, oh, a god. And I was acting strange for me. She was like, you're acting strange. But she said, I've hurt my, because I was acting different, I've hurt my foot. And I put my hands over her ankle, and I believed so hard that I could heal her ankle, like so hard. And I didn't actually touch her ankle.
Yeah.
But it was like there's so much intention behind it. It was like there was so much belief and intention and that it was like, I'm going to heal this ankle. And she had her eyes closed, and then she went, you can take your hands off. And I went, my hands haven't never been on your foot. And I remember that moment and thinking, and she was like, oh, wow, it felt like your hands were fully on me that whole time. So whatever was going on, there was some energetic transmission, right? And I remember thinking that was really interesting.
Did you heal the foot? Did you get up and dance? Tell us more.
Well, I don't really know if it was me. I mean, if it got better, right?
Like then or 2 weeks later?
Oh, like a few days later. It was a sprain.
It was definitely you.
I mean, again, I don't know. But but I remember that distinct, like there was something behind that real belief and intention. And I think that's kind of what I think the power and the value of looking in and getting woo curious and starting to delve into some of this stuff is that it provides you with a sense of belief in who you are and what you're capable of, and that you are so much bigger than you think you are. You're far bigger than these like idea that you can't make your relationship work, or you can't have your business work, or you can't go and live out your dreams. So even if it's all bullshit, right? And we've made this whole thing up, so what?
Fully.
If it has you go out there and fulfill on your dreams, then it's the most incredible thing, and you should definitely get into it. If you want to argue that it's not true and it's bullshit, okay, then don't fulfill on your dreams. How's your current life going for you?
Right.
No?
I think you touched on it before, and one of the things that I have been really leaning into and enjoying the most about all of it is deeper self-love. That's where it's at, man. That's better than drugs. That's incredible, falling wildly, madly in love with who I am, all parts of me, showing up authentically, and having losing all of my self-doubt, losing all of that stuff, because I feel more connected to source energy. I feel more connected to my own power, my internal power, and just have this belief that, I can create. I am creation. I can create everything that I see in my mind, everything I desire. So having that belief and the self-love is just really fucking refreshing. Oh, sorry, can I swear? Really refreshing after years of not feeling that.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. And I remember someone saying the greatest value in life is power, like actually internal power, not like overpowering someone or control, but I mean like having a sense of being empowered, freedom, self-expression, and peace of mind. Those things, who cares if you want to connect to an 80-foot Archangel Michael like I do? If you or call in the energies of Steve Jobs, who else? Einstein, Oprah. I have this whole bunch of people where I call in, and I even specifically say the things that I want to call in. I mean, I don't know if I don't have to argue whether this is real or not. That's why I'm not true. I can't actually physically say it's happening. I don't have a little Oprah or a little thing jump into my brain. That doesn't happen. However, it's really empowering, and I know I can tell you some of the results I get out of it. I do wake up with what I call my cosmic downloads and have ideas that just literally come into my brain, and I don't know how I came up with them.
Yeah.
Amazing. So is it real? Is it not? I don't know, but this is what I call living the easy life. I don't have to do all the thinking.
How good is that?
Easy.
Yeah. Stress-free, ease and grace. Yeah. That's the key, right?
That's right. So I'm not going to argue whether it's real or whether it's not. In fact, I'll even say it's not. But so what? What has that got to do?
I'm going to say it is real. It's as real as anything else that you want to believe in, because you make things real, right? God knows I've believed in enough crappy relationships that I thought were real, right? If I can believe in that shit, can I believe in myself and believe in in some crystals?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I'd avoid. Okay. We're not going to get into that on here. And look, I'm not going to get into that on here because I don't want to get into a political discussion about this. But yeah, it's like, sorry, now I'm distracted by the comment. Moving on. What was the last thing that you said?
I've believed in enough crappy relationships before, so why can't I believe in a crystal and myself? It's where we put our belief to create the reality.
Exactly. That's why I keep coming to it's where you put the belief to create your reality. That's why I come back to what's real and what's not.
Yeah, that's a tweet, people. That's a tweet.
Well, it is, because if we believe in something, and like I said, there's no actual physical evidence for that this stuff exists, what we end up making our life about is convincing others it's true. I have no interest in doing that.
No. Same. So in fact, I'm fairly certain some of my old friends, because I've had a bit of an identity shift, right? So some of my old friends or the people who were following my social media previously are like, Jesus, when did she get so positive and like all of this self-love memes? And like, like she's actually become one of those annoying people, and I know that it is actually rubbing some people up the wrong way, but I just can't stop, Jess. I can't stop. I won't stop.
No, me neither. I'm unstoppable now. But I think a lot of my freedom also comes from I'm not trying to convince anyone to do it either. I'm just saying, hey, give it a go. See if it works for you.
Yeah.
It's not even real. Maybe not. Who knows? But I can't prove it.
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you the quantum mechanics and the energetics and some of the science that's out there about entanglement theory and stuff like that. But
there's a lot of research into a lot of things for sure. But yeah, I love that. Where attention goes, power grows and energy flows. Boom.
Yeah, I do. I love that. And it's like Lisa said as well. Exactly. Victim or genius, where are you putting your attention? Exactly. Yeah. If someone likes to try to convince me it's not real, I'm like, it's not. Try it on. Have you given it a go? Have you called in the energy of Einstein? Well, you should try it.
Have you even?
Gotten your sage out and cleared your mother-in-law when she comes over? See how it goes.
Or when you move into a new house, sometimes the energy doesn't feel right. You give it a quick sage. Absolutely. Yeah. Or when your ex-husband moves out, for sure.
That's right. Exactly. Where attention goes, power grows, and energy flows. It really is about the intention behind it.
Yeah, definitely.
So any last comments? We have been going for over an hour. This was such a fun discussion. I'm so glad. We should do part 2. We're curious now.
Absolutely.
Once all this settles.
Well, because I don't even think we pulled out the big guns yet.
You don't think? Oh, we didn't know.
No.
What about the moon? We haven't the moon cycle. We haven't even entered the moon cycle, have we?
The moon cycle or various different, techniques of healing. There's so much more to be curious about, right?
We should pick a topic and then come back and do we're curious.
Yeah. But, my last comments, just follow your curiosity, right? Let go of your and this is across the board. This is for everything in your life, right? Follow your curiosity. Let go of any judgment that you have on yourself or on others. Check stuff out, because if there are certain things, if there are really simple ways that you can feel more and increase your emotional connection and your EQ, bring that on, baby.
Totally.
So yeah, just follow your curiosity.
Totally. And then that's just to sum this up. This is really, we even said what our intention was, is to, just provide this freedom to play and have fun with alternative ways of how people do life. And you said you wanted to inspire curiosity and release the awkwardness and the shame around what we've considered weird and only being for hippies. This is actually for everyone and anyone who wants to give it a go and try it on, because it really is, it's made a difference to me, you, and I've seen loads of people in professional
Oprah
roles.
Made a difference to Oprah. She talks about it all the time, and Oprah, she's not wrong. She's never wrong.
Yeah. Yes. Well, yes. Oprah. There's a series on Netflix called Goop.
I loved it.
And it's
they do a bit of plant medicine,
don't they? They do. That was Gwyneth Paltrow, and she sort of delved into some of these modalities as well. Yes. So you can go and check it out. And so it is becoming something that people are getting interested in, and I just want to have more conversations about it. Looks like people want us to have more conversations about it. We'll have to do We're Curious Part 2.
Woo too.
Yeah. Woo too. Thank you everyone that jumped on. Lisa, Sky, Naomi, Jackie, Teresa, who else have got Lisa? I said Lisa. Anyone else who jumped on, Naomi, so good to see you on here. Our glorious self-healing bodies. I know, self-healing bodies. There's so many different aspects that we could touch on here. Now go find my inner child, Jess. Where is that little one? Where the fuck did she go? and see you on the dance floor. Yeah, send me that link. I'm going to go to conscious clubbing. Maybe we'll talk about that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Until next time, please do comment.
Thanks so much.
And if you want to,
a little shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to find a little bit more of me, you can find me on Instagram at your.good.life and on Facebook at Your Good Life with Danielle Colley. But if you want to delve into some of this stuff and also getting some more clarity and purpose and alignment in your life, then I got a little something special beginning on November the 12th. So get in touch. We're going to put a link down below, and we can delve into a little bit woo, a little bit practical, and a whole lot of self-love.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you, Danielle. Thanks for being a part of this.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening.
You too. See you guys.
Bye.